We are living in one of those moments where so much is happening all at once and information about it all is so tightly controlled that huge history-changing events can occur, and in fact are occurring right now, and nobody seems aware of them. It's pretty unsettling, actually.
Hey fam, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we'll be doing our Saturday's news, comments, and reports. Today is Saturday. It's rainy here in the state of New Jersey. So hopefully you all are doing well. This is Shauna, and I'm officially checking in over here at Moments with Us. Check in, let us know where you are watching from and how you are doing. Let's go ahead and get today's video rolling. Before we jump into some of the other crazy things that's going on, here's something that popped up on my feed. You think an industry that makes its money off of sick people is going to give you a free shot that's going to make you super healthy? We're going to let that go ahead and sink in. This became a huge discussion in one of the groups that I'm in over on Facebook. And yeah, just let it sink in. So here's something that's actually been floating around. So Qatar is now threatening to cut off gas supply to the world. Buckle up, folks, this says. The issue that I'm having is it's so easy to make anything online seem as if it's real. That's if you're very gullible. Is it real? Did it really happen? According to this report here, no, Qatar did not threaten to cut off the world's gas supply in support of Gaza. This was a video back in 2017 that's being shared around the world. False claims about Gaza. So basically, users are claiming that Amir threatened to cut off the world's gas supply if Israel did not stop bombing the Gaza Strip. And it's saying, boom, that it is false. No, it's not true. Like I said, the video is all the way back from 2017, and it's showing an actual meeting from 2017, and there was never a mention of stopping the gas supply to the world. But if it was to happen, now that would be a major issue. How many of you down below believe that they would actually stop the gas supply to the whole world? And what's the possibility? And in all honesty, we can't really function without it. Businesses cannot function without it. The world would go to crap really, really fast. So, I mean, that's one thing to look out and kind of prepare for. You know, if something like that was to happen. Listen, everybody in my house is just back, left to right, back to back, y'all. They just coughing and going and listen. Anyhow, yes, the world would be in total crap. So, just look at it like that. I don't know what bug that they released out in this air, but I'm telling y'all, it is something in the air. And whatever sickness this is definitely hard to shake. But me, myself, I have been just detoxing. I even ain't drink no coffee, y'all. I haven't even drunk coffee. Yes. So, y'all hear me? I'm starting to feel a little better. I'm sounding better. Yes. I just had to share that with you guys. Yes. I'm going to do the little onion trick for Maya, being that she's old enough. Where you take the onion with some, I think it's Vicks or something like that. You put it in a sock overnight, and then boom. We're going to actually try that tonight. Maybe I'll try that on my family channel, y'all, just to see the results. If it's something that can really draw out all the bacteria in the body. All right, so we discuss, something that be going on with the banks here and there, but we don't really discuss finances as often over here. But when I do see something, I share it with you guys. Now, recently, which is crazy, y'all gonna be like, what? $81 billion in bank transfers abruptly halted as JP Morgan Chase and big banks encounter a major glitch, y'all, in Japan. Yeah, they said a major glitch happened, and abruptly they halted $81 billion. So just imagine $81 billion just like that. So they are saying that engineers are investigating a banking glitch that triggered a total shutdown of billions upon billions of dollars in bank transfers in Japan. So the glitch began on Tuesday, leaving more than 1 million customers unable to move their money and affecting banking giants including Chase, MUFG, and Mitsubishi Trust. Y'all, I'm just going to put it like this. Because I know I'm not the only one who been hearing people say, oh my God, the ATM not working. They can't get no money out the bank. You know, oh, something going on with the bank. We can't have access to our cash right now. I'm not the only one hearing these complaints. I have this one friend. She get the, what do you call that little card that Social Security benefits get? It's something. I think it's called, oh my God, Direct Express. But she was able to use the card everywhere, like almost at every ATM. But I think that she's been going to like a PNC or something like that. And the PNC kept declining her card, though you can use it there. She was saying even certain ATMs are not taking the card that people get their benefits on. And that's crazy because typically you can use it anywhere. You know? And I'm seeing more and more signs on these ATMs, you know, even whether you're going to drive through, you're going into the bank, whatever. Out of service, out of order, out of service, out of order. Like, what's really up with that? Something is up. Something is definitely up when it comes down to these banks. And in the press of a button, any money that's left in your account, I'm not going to say it could be gone, you know, but you just won't have access to it regardless. Just because if they see a glitch and that glitch lasts for a very long time, you know how many people won't have access to their money? Come on, this is happening way too often. Way too often. Some of these banks are part of some really big schemes, y'all. I mean, some really big ones. So, I mean, they're really not to be trusted from the door. I mean, I get it, though. I get it. You know, we all have, well, majority of us have bank accounts, right? You know, in hopes that we can just get our money when we need it. And that's all. Just keep giving me my money. That's it. But this is just our reality of how the world works. There's some really cruel people and some very dangerous and cruel operations that's going on. But let's go ahead and continue on with these reports. So over in New Orleans, they had an issue with the salt water. They said it was not safe to drink the water. But guess what? The saltwater intrusion is no longer a threat to New Orleans drinking water. And they're home to about 1.2 million people. Pepperonis. 1.2 million people. You know? And they had a threat of having salt water, you know, being contaminated into their homes. That's their drinking water, their bathing water. Everything that water is needed and used for. Into the restaurants, wherever you go, couldn't avoid it. Now they're saying it's safe to drink the water. That's no longer an issue. We're going to run a video from the beginning of the video that started. Hopefully, if you all are here, if you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe. It definitely helps us out. If you are still here watching and you forgot to press that like button, press the like button and help us out over here. Hopefully, you all are enjoying so far Moments with Us, because this is another moment with all of us. Let's go ahead and play this clip and see what this person talking about. Though this video I'm about to show is based on, I believe, Europe, right? But pay attention. Really pay attention. Because right about now, some of the world events that's happening, we're really making history. You know, the worst in history, you know. The biggest amount in history, you know, the highest numbers in history. We are really making history. So just pay attention to this and let's see exactly what's going on. I know I'm going to hear y'all thoughts in the comments. Y'all really good about that. So let's see.
We are living in one of those moments where so much is happening all at once and information about it all is so tightly controlled that huge history-changing events can occur, and in fact are occurring right now, and nobody seems aware of them. It's pretty unsettling, actually. Here's one example. Europe is descending into poverty. Did you know that? Had someone told you that? So the most advanced continent on the planet, the birthplace of Western civilization, our civilization, is getting much poorer very quickly. It's moving backward at high speed. Just a year ago, Europe was a modern place. For example, the overwhelming majority of Europeans heated their homes with natural gas, as modern people do. In Germany, the continent's richest country, only about 6% of households, most of them rural, heated with cordwood. And you'd expect that, given that, again, Germany is a modern industrialized country with central heating and indoor plumbing and all the other trappings of a society that has moved beyond the medieval period. Last year, only about 6% of Germans used wood to heat their homes, but that has changed dramatically. Demand for firewood in Germany has risen so fast that there is none left to buy. You can't get it. So desperate Germans are now cutting their own wood, scouring the forests like their ancestors for sources of heat. So they call it biomass, but it's wood. They're burning wood, again, as they did during the feudal period. That's Germany. In Poland, families are standing in line for days to buy coal. Not in 1910, right now, tonight. Cars queued up outside coal mines, hoping for fuel. Quote, this is beyond imagination. The French government has announced energy rationing this winter. Just the other day, France had so much energy that it exported it to other countries. It was a net exporter of energy. Now, there won't be enough heat in France for everyone in the country to stay warm. In the UK, 70% of restaurants are preparing to close, to go under. Why? Because when winter comes, they won't be able to afford to keep the heat and lights on, et cetera, et cetera. This is happening across Europe in every country. So the question is, why is it happening? And the answer is extremely simple. There's an energy shortage in Europe. Cheap energy is essential. It is the key to everything that a normal society strives for. Prosperity, safety, a longer life expectancy for its citizens, everything depends on cheap energy, but Europe no longer has it. And as a result, things are falling apart very quickly. Energy costs in Europe are expected to increase by hundreds of percent in coming months. Germany's year-ahead price of electricity, that's the benchmark for all of Europe, it's measured in euros per megawatt hour, that price just exceeded 1,000 euros for the first time in history. For perspective, just a week ago, last Monday, the cost was about 700 euros per megawatt hour. And that was a record. In other words, the price rise is approaching 50% in a single week. In France, electricity went up 25% in one day. That was last Friday. Imagine that happening to you. Here's what Europe looks like tonight. 7 times more expensive. So it turns out, if you don't have cheap natural gas, you can't run the continent. Now, if you've got a graduate degree and live in a city in the United States, you may be shocked to learn this. You may never have heard this before. You may have believed that fossil fuels were on their way out any day now. And you thought that because the Davos people and our own leaders assured us of that for decades. They told us that green energy was the future, and the future is here. It's here. As recently as last month, the World Economic Forum claimed that Europe could save, quote, 1 trillion in fossil fuel costs by switching to renewables. But it turns out, and this may not shock you, they had no clue what they were talking about. They knew nothing about the subject they talked about endlessly. Green energy cannot replace fossil fuels. Not now, not anytime soon. Fossil fuels remain what they have always been, the key to civilization. That is true now. That has been true since Homo erectus started the first cooking fire in a cave nearly 1 million years ago. So-called green energy is not close, is nowhere near replacing gas and oil and coal. It's measurable. We could have known this. Anyone with 8th grade math skills could have figured out in about 10 minutes that we cannot replace fossil fuels with renewables or green energy. And of course, they must have known that. When they told you otherwise, it was just posturing. It was childish and destructive fantasy talk that apparently fooled millions of their citizens and millions of ours. The Green New Deal means what it always meant. It means poverty. What's changed, what's so very interesting, is that suddenly everyone else who's been paying attention can see that they were lying. They are frauds, and the entire population of Europe now knows that. Donald Trump, to his credit, whatever you think of him, caught on to this early. 4 years ago, Trump warned Europe about its energy future during a speech at the United Nations. The German delegation laughed at him. Remember this? But they're not laughing anymore. The Europeans have discovered that the real threat to people is global cooling, otherwise known as winter. Far more people freeze to death every year than die of heat. In 2019, for example, 4 times as many people died of cold as of heat. That's according to the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation. So when temperatures in Europe begin to drop a few months from now, this is a huge problem, and that will be obvious to everyone. It's not global warming, it's global cooling. That's what's going to kill your grandmother. And when everyone understands that perfectly well, a lot of things are going to happen. The status quo will crumble. Factories will close. Unemployment will rise. Disposable income will disappear. And you're seeing signs of that already. Personal savings rates are down dramatically. In this country, 60% of Americans can't cover an expected $400 expense. Credit card debt increasing year over year by 13%. That's the biggest jump in 20 years. Total household debt set an all-time record of $15.8 trillion. That's in this country. It's also true, similarly, in Europe. So how will spiraling energy costs affect all of this? And what will be the cascading effect? Well, when the cost of keeping your apartment warm jumps by hundreds of percent in a single year, you become a completely different person. You change your behavior radically. You're no longer tempted to buy a new $1,400 iPhone, or shop at Whole Foods, or even pick up an extra cappuccino. The entire consumer economy grinds to a halt because there's no discretionary income. So it is impossible to overstate the downstream effects on the world of an energy crisis. Everything changes. How are the central banks responding to this? Not well. They seem to be making things worse on purpose. You know, in the United States, we're told not to notice what the Fed does because the Fed is now diverse and therefore great. The same central banks that intentionally caused inflation, and they did, those same central banks are now hiking rates to destroy demand. The problem is, this isn't a demand problem. This is a supply problem.
And it's not just Europe, honestly, that people are driven into poverty. It's here too. People who could have afford that extra cappuccino a day or whatever it is, can no longer afford it. People are draining their savings to stay afloat. The one job ain't making it. Darn 2 jobs are hardly making it. And things are just going to continue to get worse. Why? Because it's already written. You guys, I'm going to leave this right here where it's at. Hopefully you all enjoyed today's video that I put together for you guys. This is Shauna, and I'm officially checking out for Moments with Us because I got to go tend to my children, y'all. Yes, I do. People have been, getting out of Gaza. I mean, the evacuation is still going. But, we'll see an update with that. It's constantly updating over and over. So, yeah, that's crazy. Continue to keep them in the prayers. It's a really sad situation. So, hopefully you all have an amazing weekend. Well, rest of the weekend. I'm off to enjoy my weekend. We are resting today in the house. So, you all stay prepped, stay blessed, stay safe. Most of all, remain beautiful queens and kings. Until next video, y'all, I'm out. Peace.